Please stand. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we beseech your divine guidance in this meeting. Keep us ever mindful of our obligation. Grant us, dear Lord, wisdom, tolerance, and courage that we may well serve our county and fulfill our trust. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to move to approve the minutes of our regular meeting of October 10th, as well as the special meetings also of October 10th.
Second.
Discussion? Roll?
Handley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. Okay, first up, we have, well, I'm going to ask, is there any public comment regarding any pending resolutions? All right, we are now going to handle our two proclamations.
We'll do the second one when Bethany comes up for her report.
Okay, perfect. Is anyone here for the first one? Yes.
Red ribbon? Red ribbon, okay.
Okay. We have a resolution of proclamation proclaiming October 2023 to 31 as Red Ribbon Week. Whereas illegal drug use has reached epidemic proportions and is a major concern to all Americans, including Medina County residents, raising public awareness by educating Medina County residents about the dangers of illegal drug use is the key to effectively preventing drug abuse. It is imperative that visible, unified prevention education efforts by community members be launched to eliminate the demand for illegal drugs. It is the goal of Red Ribbon Week to involve families, schools, businesses, churches, law enforcement agencies, and service organizations in all aspects of this campaign to establish an atmosphere that supports awareness, education, and ongoing initiatives to prevent illegal drug use. Persons from all walks of life can demonstrate their commitment to a drug-free, healthy lifestyle by wearing and displaying red ribbons as a symbol of their commitment to such a lifestyle. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio hereby recognize and proclaim October 23rd to the 31st, 2023 as Red Ribbon Week.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll?
Handley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes. So who here come on up.
Hello.
Come on up and we'll have you say a few words. We'll get a picture.
How are you this
Well, we're
morning?
gonna get a picture first and then we're gonna let you guys
All
say a
right.
few words. So I'm gonna come around. This side of you, come on in. You guys are in the center.
We're in the center?
Yes. Okay. Go ahead and say something.
You better not have blocked him. Good morning. My name is Jamie Bale. I'm the unit commander of the Chesty Fuller Young Marine Staff here, buddy. Where are you going off to? This is my young Marine PFC Evans. So proclamation, thank you so much for doing this for us. We are very, very big on drug demand reduction. That's one of the big things in our program that we do. So Red Ribbon Week, we're going around. I'm not even sure right now how many proclamations we have going through. I believe it's like 14 or 15 at this point. But these kids, we teach them about drugs all the time. It's a big problem in the communities. We want to make sure the kids are aware of this. This program's kids 8 to 18, so we have our older ones that are teaching the younger ones the classes, and then they're going around to schools and they're obviously promoting the drug-free lifestyle as well. So this is a huge thing for us in this program. We promote it because it's definitely something that we have a problem with in the community. So we thank you all for this so much today, and hopefully we're back next year, right, buddy? You'll be a little taller. A little taller? Maybe you want to say anything? Tell them what we just did on Saturday. Birthday ball. Did you forget already? So we had our birthday ball. Today's actually the Young Marine birthday. Oh, wow. Today, so we had our birthday ball on Saturday, and this young man was our Young Marine of the Year, so he got that award.
Oh, congratulations.
So yes.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you all so much.
You look great in that uniform.
Okay, next up, we're going to do resolutions. And we have county engineer, and I believe we have Dan here today.
Good morning.
Hey, Dan.
Good morning.
I've got two resolutions for your consideration today. The first resolution is the necessity to close Friendsville Road between State Route 224 and King Creek Drive. And the second is to enter into agreement with the township and villages in Medina County to sell the materials, basically salt.
Move to approve both resolutions.
Second.
Discussion? Roll? Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick? Yes.
Thank you.
Dan. Next up, we have Jeremy Cinco, our sanitary engineer.
Morning, everyone. I have 3 resolutions for consideration today. The first is authorizing change order number 4 for the Medina County Residential Solid Waste Campus Project, and that is the final adjusting change order. The second is a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement for the county to purchase real property. The third is authorizing the Medina County Sanitary Engineer to release the remaining escrow to Fetchco Excavating for the Sharon Township Water and Sewer Improvements Project.
Move to approve the 3 resolutions.
Second.
Discussion? Roll? Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison? Sweattick? Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Next up, we have Holly Murin, our Human Resources Director.
Good morning.
Morning.
On our personal changes resolution today, we have 7 rate increases, 2 in sanitary, 2 in planning, 1 in transit, 1 in building, and 1 at job and family services, 3 leave of absence, 1 in finance, 1 in sanitary, and 1 in job and family services, and 1 termination correction at job and family services.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Roll? Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick? Yes.
Thank you.
Holly.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Brett Thomas, our Finance Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. I have 8 resolutions for your consideration today. The first one is an increase to appropriations. Our second resolution is transfers of appropriations in between funds. Our third resolution is expenditure adjustments. Fourth resolution is revenue adjustments. Our fifth resolution is cash transfers for various funds. Sixth resolution is transfers from different departments to the gasoline rotary fund. Our seventh resolution is expenses of county officials for seminars, etc. Nobody is out of state this time. And our eighth resolution is our weekly bills in the amount of $1,927,488.22. As always, copies of the bills are kept in the auditor's office for your perusal.
Move to approve the 8 resolutions.
Second.
Discussion? Roll? Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick? Yes. Thank you, Brett.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Chris Jacob, our County Administrator.
Good morning. Two resolutions for you this morning. The first is approving the submission of a proposal to the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging for Office for Older Adults funding through the Older Americans Act. This is for calendar years 2024 through 2027. I think there's a reasonable expectation that that allocation will be increased based upon the census numbers from 2020. Next and final resolution this morning is approving a license agreement with the Medina Hospital for improvements to the hospital morgue and autopsy room for the benefit of the Medina County Coroner through the use of state and local fiscal recovery funds. This is a maximum amount of $169,000 and would be paid from the revenue replacement side of the allocation that the county had received.
Move to approve both resolutions.
Second.
Discussion? Roll? Hambley?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick? Yes. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Next up, we have department updates. First up, we have Richard Neslin, Chief Building Official.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll start out by again saying that our year-to-date value of construction is down, remains down, a little over 30%. Our year-to-date new home starts or new home cost is a few dollars under $399,000, or under $400,000, I should say. So right on the cusp of $400,000. New home starts in September was pretty good. 35 home starts in September is kind of a 5-year high. And I'll note that that 0 in 2019 is a mistype that clearly was not true. We have to fill those in that year 19 and 20 because we were in the llama system. Moving on to the next page, second page, again shows that our monthly receipts are down compared to last year. And third page, again, same thing, 21% down compared to last year at this time. Big drop in commercial, especially here in September. And page 4 is permits issued by townships and villages, breakdown given. Page 5 is commercial permits by township, breakdown. And moving on to page 6 is a list of the commercial projects permitted in September, along with the use group type and the estimated value. Other business, our residential and commercial review times remain quite good, 3 to 4 days for residential and about 3 weeks for commercial. So we're still hanging in. Of course, it's a little easier with a little bit less work. Last night we had a successful appeals meeting. First appeals meeting we had in probably 4 years. It's amazing. But anyhow, it was a good, successful meeting. The appellant won. And it's important to note that everything the building department does and says and writes is appealable. And then it can also be further appealed at the state if it doesn't go their way, if they choose to take it to the state level. And that's pretty much all I have this morning.
Question, the commercial, you mentioned, I mean, it's pretty significant in terms of numbers on here. Is that partly due to September 22 being particularly large? Was that a high water mark of any type? Or?
Exactly. Last year, the whole year was a high water mark. In fact, I'm quite certain that was our biggest year ever for permits issued, amount of square footage of commercial space, which is what drives our permit cost. But yeah, last year was clearly the highest in probably ever.
So these numbers could be more regression to the mean than a real step back.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just more normal. In fact, I think probably we're still ahead of a 5-year average. You know, but compared to last year, looks like we're in bad shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Next up, we have Bethany Dentler from Economic Development.
Good morning. As Richard said, although we have seen a decent amount of economic activity in the first 3 quarters, we are trending, I will say, a bit slower compared to last year due to, I think, global economic concerns as well as high interest rates. I think what we saw last year were companies trying to get in before rates really jumped, and so there's a lot of pent-up demand, number one. They're trying to get ahead of what's going to be happening over the next couple of years. Countywide, year to date, there have been $184 million in new capital investment announced as committed investments, which we define as new machinery and equipment as well as new property or property improvements. Those projects represent 221 planned new jobs and 687 retained jobs. I believe those numbers also already include the new headquarters from Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative, which we attended the groundbreaking ceremony yesterday. That's a $14 million investment in and of itself. It's 5 years in the making, and they will be bringing 40 new jobs to the village of Spencer, so it's a great win for that area. We do continue to see development interest in all corners of the counties. Some communities are currently creating new economic development tools like CRA zones. The Village of Seville over the past quarter did approve the expansion of their existing CRA zone, and we're working with Harrisville Township on creating a brand new CRA zone. So far this year, our economic development staff has met with 160 companies so that we can understand their concerns and their opportunities for growth. In talking with those companies, we are hearing that they're not hiring as quickly as they have in previous years, but most of them still do have a few job openings here and there. And some of them have been quoting a record number of projects, but because we do have a lot of supply chain in the automotive industry in Medina County, some of them are being impacted by the UAW strike. It's injected a lot of uncertainty into the market, so while companies are planning for the end of the strike, they're not confirming orders until all of that is settled. I would say overall businesses are still fairly optimistic about the economy. Unemployment rates continue to stay low in Medina County. During my last quarterly report, I mentioned that May's unemployment rate was 3.2%, and that's exactly where it was for the month of August. That 3.2% unemployment is well below the state of Ohio's August unemployment rate of 3.7 and the U.S. unemployment rate of 3.9. So we continue to have a very strong labor market. A few other updates on our activities at the Economic Development Corporation. Made in Medina County Day was a great success. Thank you for celebrating that with a proclamation for October 6th. We had 250 people registered for 15 plant tours. That included groups of students who toured Rico Manufacturing in Medina and FIT in Valley City. We are looking at potentially scheduling another open house plant tour day in the spring. There were people who just couldn't get there on a Friday in the fall, but so we're looking at doing something in the spring as well. For our pre-apprenticeship program this school year so far, we have 70 students registered to participate in the 11 soft skills modules that will allow them to earn the necessary points for graduation. I mentioned that last year we had graduated 130 students, so this year we've got 70 signed up so far, but those signups do continue. The grant that we have secured to continue the program into this coming school year has also allowed us to expand the curriculum and fund bus trips for students from schools into business settings, as well as going up to Magnet Student Engagement Center in Cleveland. The thinking is that we want to use those trips to Magnet as a way to assess the interest of students in manufacturing careers, so then funnel them down and make sure that the businesses are meeting with the right students when we invite them into their plants. We do have a bus trip scheduled later this week for 24 students from Cloverleaf High School to Owens Corning right here in Medina. So the students who will participate in the plant tour, they'll also hear from employees about everything from applying for jobs as to why those employees choose to work at the company. And Owens Corning is doing a great job of identifying younger employees who can relate to the students. One of the changes to the pre-apprenticeship program this year requires that all of the participants get an individual career coaching session with Mitchell Bemke, our career coach. So that allows him to connect those students directly to employment opportunities. Speaking of Mitchell, in his first full year as a career coach, that was last school year, he met with 65 students for one-on-one career coaching sessions. Now that word has spread about his availability and services, he's been very busy so far this school year. By the end of the month, he'll have met with 40 students already. So word is really getting out about his services, and even people in other counties are interested in talking with him. So we know we have a good thing on our hands. He's also been organizing career fairs and mock interview sessions for a number of school districts. The next opportunity is November 15th at Buckeye High School. So if anybody in the audience or you guys are interested, I think there are a few slots left. In terms of our own internal workplace initiative, just last week, the Economic Development Corporation staff completed our training to be named as a recovery-friendly workplace. Stephanie Robinson from Hope Recovery Community, she did an amazing job with the training and really opened our eyes about recovery and the language around recovery and how that impacts the people who are involved. She will be presenting our certification in front of our members at our November 16th member meeting, so I hope you can join us for that. We wanted to serve as a model to encourage other Medina County companies to seek that training and receive designation as a recovery-friendly workplace. We believe that it will help their workforce recruitment and retention efforts. The Convention and Visitors Bureau, I am thrilled to report that our new CVB director, Shannon Carter, has truly hit the ground running since she started in mid-August. She's planning to institute monthly stakeholder meetings with businesses in the tourism industry, and she's going to be moving those meetings around the county so that stakeholders have the chance to experience all of the variety of Medina County's assets. So I'm sure she'd be happy to have you join her for those meetings at any time. Right now, she is building the 2024 marketing plan around an annual campaign campaign schedule. 80% of her focus is going to be on visitors outside the county, bringing people in. Obviously, her emphasis is on heads in beds, which pay the bed tax that fund the CVB's operation. And she's also going to be working on building great itineraries for those group tours and buses. She and Jody Robbins at the CVB attended the Ohio Travel Association's 3-day tourism conference in Worcester last week. Shannon actually has a seat on the Ohio Travel Association's board representing the Northeast Ohio region, so it's great to have her serving Medina County and in a position with statewide reach. In terms of our events, the Medina County Business Awards, we have maxed out. I was prepared to invite you to the event if you haven't already signed up, so I believe you all are signed up, but we do have 250 people confirmed to attend that program on Thursday, October 26th at the Blair Center. One other update on our Port Authority efforts. We are in the process of submitting grant reimbursements for the half dozen projects, the brownfields and building demolition projects, which are already complete. We did find that some of the $948,000 that we were awarded has not yet been used. So we have a very real opportunity to reallocate about $300,000 of those funds to a pending demolition project that should be complete by early next year. We are currently organizing a request for projects outreach for the $1.5 million in grant funding available in round 2 of the building demolition and brownfields program. So we are planning to have a committee review those project requests and rank them in preparation for the Port Authority's December meeting, and then we'll submit those to the state for approval. For Innovation Park, I reported last time that we were in due diligence period for the sale of a 12-acre parcel in Innovation Park. That parcel has now been sold to a company that would like to construct a 20,000 square foot facility. We are working our way through a few development issues. The county still owns one parcel in Innovation Park, and there's another 19-acre parcel that was sold in 2019, which is up for sale again, and there is interest in that parcel as well. Friday, October 20th, marks the 20-year anniversary of the creation of the Port Authority by the Medina County Commissioners. So we are having a celebratory open house in Suite 119 in this building beginning at 3 p.m. And I'd certainly like to thank the commissioners for your work over the years and your support and involvement in appointing our board members. We tend to work our board members and our chairs pretty hard. So I want to say a special thanks, especially to our current board chair, Adam Frederick. He was the commissioner's liaison to the Port Authority during his time here, and I know he got worked pretty hard, especially with the fiber network, but somehow he agreed to come back and serve as our chair, and it's good to have him with us here today.
Okay, with that being said, we do have a proclamation. So we are doing a resolution commending the Medina County Port Authority on 20 years of service to the community, whereas the Medina County Port Authority was established on October 20th, 2003, to help Medina County create and sustain a competitive business environment by utilizing the unique powers granted to a port authority. The Medina County Port Authority has assisted dozens of county businesses on economic development projects of various sizes to create and retain hundreds of jobs in Medina County. The Medina County Port Authority worked to develop, implement, and enhance Medina County's infrastructure, including construction of a countywide fiber network that has leveraged over $50 million in private sector fiber investments. The Medina County Port Authority has worked with county businesses to facilitate the investment of nearly $500 million into the Medina County economy over the past 20 years. The Medina County Port Authority has endeavored to support countywide development organizations in highlighting the competitive advantages of doing businesses in Medina County. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Medina County, Ohio, that they hereby commend the Medina County Port Authority for 20 years of service to Medina County and look forward to many more successful years for the organization.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll.
Campbell?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Sweattick?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to give a speak?
Yes. Here we go.
Okay, go for it, you two.
Adam, I'm finished speaking.
Well, I guess it's been a privilege to be part of the Port Authority for 13 of those 20 years now. which really makes you feel old. And I don't know that I've contributed as much. I think my primary contribution is the meetings are shorter when I'm there than if I'm not there. But the lady standing to my left is the reason that Port Authority has had such success here in Medina County, and it's just been a privilege to be part of it as a commissioner and now just as the chair. So thank you for the proclamation, thank you for working hard as you do, and just for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you for attending today.
Yes. Thank you for your service on that. Having been on the board when we created this and actually been involved with the community meetings prior to that, and City of Brunswick and all the, obviously the biggest joke then, where's your port? We're Port Authority, but once you actually see the accomplishments and the tools that are given to it, it obviously made sense. There was a bit of angst among the community, creating a new, if you will, legal entity that have a political authority, but it's one that has worked out great, to great benefit to Medina County. But it requires, obviously, good leadership within that organization itself, and my thanks to you.
Still a lot ahead, but a lot of the turmoil and the rest of that stuff that people lost sleep over, that's,
Oh, yeah? Yeah.
most of that's in the rearview mirror, it seems.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, next up, we have Eric Haynes from Soil and Water.
Good morning.
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 All right. Since my last update, our office has assisted in 15 technical events, including 4 drainage site visits, 4 pond permit applications, 1 landowner INE, 1 soil evaluation, an erosion issue, 2 plan reviews, 2 native plant site assessments, and approval for final construction on 2 grass waterways in Guilford Township. Education events in the last month include a Leave the Leaves presentation on October 4th. Our watershed education specialist, Abby, spoke at a Wadsworth Schools Professional Day on September 22nd. Fish sale pickup was September 28th. A Sensible Salt workshop hosted by Neopipe took place on September 14th. This workshop helped municipalities meet their annual Phase 2 training requirements. I helped at the OSU Ag Day on September 29th. The Fall Foliage Tour was this past weekend. There was some rain, but people were still able to enjoy the tour. Our office was lucky to be under a roof out at Solid Waste District, and I was very impressed with their new campus. People really seemed to enjoy their facility tour as well. They had a couple golf carts going around taking people through the whole tour. It was really cool. Upcoming events, Woodlands Workshop on October 18th, 5 to 7. The area service forester, John Jolliffe, will be presenting on woodland management. Our conservation educator is presenting a green cleaning workshop on October 19th at Brunswick Library. We are partnering with the Park District and the Rock River Watershed Council for a community tree planting event, October 21st. You can check our website for registration. October 27th, we will be hosting a seed collection event at our SWCD Prairie. Volunteers are able to collect seed and take a portion of the collection home with them. Registration is on our website. October 30th, there will be a winter garden maintenance presentation at Highland Library. You can stop out for voting of our supervisor election on October 26th. Our office is open for voting, and you can contact us regarding absentee voting as well. We have 2 candidates running for 1 seat on our board. Voting will end on November 9th at our annual meeting, which will take place at the Career Center this year. Doors open for voting at our annual meeting at 5:30. Dinner will be at 6:30, followed by our award program and guest speaker. This year's guest speaker will be Dr. Aaron Wilson, an assistant professor and ag weather climate field specialist with OSU Extension in the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Science. Dr. Wilson will be discussing trending weather patterns and their effect on modern agriculture. And Aaron will be our MC for the night. And thank you for that. Our October board meeting will take place tomorrow at 1:30 at our office. It is open to the public. And if any group, club, or municipality is looking for a speaker, please reach out to our office for anything conservation-based.
I do have a question on something you said. Are we not supposed to rake our leaves? I heard you say leave the leaves.
Leave the leaves. So a lot of insects, beneficial insects, need to overwinter in those things, as well as if you kind of mow over the leaves and mulch them up, it adds nutrients back to your grass, so creating a healthier lawn for next year. So it's
That's the cut above, basically.
yeah.
All right, first I want to thank you for everything you're doing, Soil and Water Conservation District. Secondly, I want to make sure that the people understand, in order to vote, you do not have to be a registered voter to vote.
Right.
You just have to be a property holder
Correct.
within the county, correct?
Over 18, yes.
Over 18. So you don't have to be a registered voter, just to own property.
Yes. But you'd have to live in Medina County. You don't have to own
Right.
property, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Very good.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we do have a commissioner resolution here. We are reappointing members to the Medina County Volunteer Peace Officers Dependent Fund Board. Ken Baca and Frederick Geisman have expressed interest to being reappointed to the board.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, next up, do we have any public comment? No, moving on, discussion session. Steve, do you have anything?
Yeah, I did want to bring up, I attended the EMA Executive Committee special meeting on Friday that we had regarding the building project that's going on out there. I had voiced concerns the second round that we went through, that we were going back with the same scope and the same project, essentially, same architect's estimate, and it was still 40% over what the architect's estimate was, which we had to reject. It's way outside the budget and way beyond what the projections were. They subsequently did a future dwell down on it with the business that submitted the proposals, identified about $200,000 in cost for just having a trailer and full-time project management presence. I guess I failed to understand why they hadn't looked at that before this round, but we are running out of time. This project has to utilize the state capital grant, has to be completed by June 30th, 2024. The window is narrowing. I know there was a lot of discussion as to what the priorities are for the project. It involved construction of a new garage, as well as obviously a rehab of the current facility, the old firehouse. My fear now, or what was decided, is they're going to have the architect do a total redesign. The engineers are going to go out for the garage, but with their engineering staff, that's going to require additional funds to pay for that architect and their engineers to do that. It's a total redesign rather than a custom build for the garage building, and that you will be incorporating a pre-engineered design building. Right now, they're talking about, is it November for the bids to go out to bidding?
Well, we kind of determined that had to be when it got done.
Well,
at the meeting, yeah.
But has anybody talked to any of the contractors that do pre-engineered buildings? I did happen, and I won't disclose who, they're already a year out. In their buildings, they're already booked up. And my fear is we're going to go out with this whole preconceived idea that we can hurry up and get a bid, and nobody has talked with those entities that actually do this, that it's going to be possible for them to come in, bid it in December, or build it in end of November and December, and with the idea that they can complete it all by the end of June, without paying some kind of premium, and it's not that big a project compared to what's out there already. So I guess that's the fear, is, are we putting our eggs once again in one basket rather than looking as what do we actually accomplish and utilize that money by June 30th. Maybe we ought to be focusing on the main building and doing whatever piecemeal rehab we can, or, like I said, it seems like they've gone a route that I'm very much concerned, and I want to put it on record, very much concerned that we're going to be stuck in the end of November with no bids, and also stuck with how do we utilize those funds to do a project that is decidedly different than what was originally proposed.
Well, we do have a meeting next Thursday, and I'm really hoping that we do a deep dive into everything that you've said and
Okay,
make some
alright.
solidified decisions, because it is time to just rip the Band-Aid and say this direction or this direction. We have to make a decision by next Thursday, so.
Yeah, that came up at last week's meeting, was the decision that we're making to move forward it's kind of an all or nothing at this point. And that's a scary proposition when you've got state money available, because we want to have something to show for that commitment of state funds. And if we can't clear the bidding hurdle that we've found ourselves on, there's a very real prospect that, that money goes away. And that's a concern that, that's kind of an eventuality nobody wants to see. So,
Well, we had the money since, that 800,000 since 2018.
Yes, and
Or we, I said, the EMA had the money.
there's no
yeah.
question that the
Yeah.
architect's estimate was way off. I mean, the percentage is
Right.
huge, and I think we're gonna make some difficult budget cutting decisions on the project next Thursday, and hopefully we'll have a direction that we're moving forward with
Is
something
it
that.
next Thursday or Wednesday?
It's Thursday.
it's next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
It got
Okay.
it's typically on Wednesdays, but it got rescheduled this month.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, get out.
So, yeah, it's next Thursday at 8:30.
Okay, have we received any update from the architect as to how much it's going to cost for
No.
that additional engineering?
No, we didn't. We did not take any action on that.
Right.
Approving
okay,
that at the
alright,
committee meeting.
alright.
But obviously, it's beyond the scope of what they've done thus far, so the expectation would be there'd be some additional cost. But the committee itself hasn't taken any step to approve the expenditure for the additional engineering.
Do you wanna come next Thursday, Chris?
I think at the Friday I happened to mention at the meeting,
Yeah.
would really need to be, at that meeting involved in the process.
It's
Uh,
8:30 next Thursday, so.
All right, very good, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
That was my main concern.
Special meeting, we had a special meeting yesterday, and Bethany's still here. She played a role, and obviously the Economic Development Board played a role in getting that scheduled. And the discussion, it was a discussion session. We didn't take any action as a board, but we were discussing kind of the some sustainability planning and those sorts of things. I thought it was a very good discussion. We got some insights from our friends at, I'm going to say, as a Verity. Also Community Energy Advisors. They're kind of a related entity. And I think in light of the discussion that we had yesterday around maybe coming up with a sustainability plan, it may make sense to have them put some numbers together for some of the work that they can do for us. So obviously for us to consider moving forward, it would be helpful to know what they're looking at in terms of a scope of work. So
Yeah, I talked to, and we saw Bethany at the event yesterday, so Bethany, you're gonna get a hold of Kevin about getting us a proposal quickly, because we do have time concerns on this issue.
Yeah, obviously the thinking being that if we can get something that represents Medina County's sustainability plans, includes our inventory of current activities, and then get that up to NOACA for inclusion in their climate action planning, as representing what we want in the region, I think it helps make our position much stronger.
what we want and what we've already completed. I mean, we've got a tree planting event, these kinds of things are happening constantly. And so, including some of these
Yeah, I
things,
think
just
Eric's monthly
documenting.
reports
I
for the
know.
last year
I know.
will be like, here, look, we're very proactive, you know?
We're not
So
even
many areas.
We're not even
Yeah.
hauling away our leaves because of, all their work. So, yeah, but no, I mean,
And
we,
no pear trees, we already, you know.
right, flowering pears, yeah.
It's interesting, and is when we look at the inventory they've done in terms of greenhouse gas, the lack of data that they actually had. We did not, the county, which I just learned, the county did not even submit its greenhouse gas emissions from our wastewater treatment plants.
Yeah.
And so, in other words, how do they then estimate what the contributions, and what entities didn't, if you will, provide that data when they were doing this inventory? So it's
And
very
that's where they
concerning.
default, right, they default.
basically filled it in and maybe it helps explain why we're 8% of the population, but 11% of the greenhouse gas inventory.
There's
They
no
just-
way we can be 11% of the green.
Well, either way, but
No way.
the default in the absence of
Yeah.
reporting is, calculation-based figures
Right.
that they're estimates, and maybe they're reliable and estimates that are generally accepted methodologies, but probably doesn't tell the whole story. I think at a minimum, we can conclude it doesn't tell the whole story when we see the outputs that are there. And those, I still don't feel, there was some feedback we received on the memo that I put together. We talked about that in a discussion session yesterday. We received some feedback to that, but there's still a lot of open questions. Chiefly among them, I find to be, some of the questions related to how the numbers of the greenhouse gas inventory are going to be implemented into an eventual plan, and how the action items of that plan are going to be tracked and measured and, and really established in the first place. And so that's where I think our discussion yesterday, to have kind of a market-driven approach where we're responsive to the requests and needs of the local business community who want to be partners in this and want to collaborate for a solution that provides many of the same things that the Climate Action Plan, is ostensibly pushing for. I'm very eager to be part of that, kind of from a Medina County perspective, and kind of be a little bit more bottom up rather than top down. So it was a good discussion. I look forward to taking the next steps and moving that quickly forward. So
Good.
Bethany, did you have anything else? Denise, do you have something? Eric, anything else? Chris, do you have anything?
Yes. Just quickly, an opt-out letter went to some residents in Medina County, township residents, for our gas aggregation program, and I just want to urge those residents who received that opt-out letter to carefully review current pricing structures from competing suppliers to make sure that they're making the best economic decision that they can for their gas supply at their residence or commercial location. We've posted the information, some rate information, on our website, the county's website, to assist consumers, and so we hope that they can take a look at that and make the appropriate choice. Also, we need to establish budget hearing schedule with the board. So I've been given your schedule availability by the clerk. So we'll be trying to get those scheduled as quickly as possible, or at least on the schedule as quickly as possible for November, I'm thinking. And all the budget requests, save a few, have been received by the deadline, which was the 6th of the month. So we're going to compile those and get those in front of you, hopefully in the near future. So that's all I have today. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So, did you have anything more? Okay, so I have two things. Yesterday evening, I did receive the proposed MOU with University of Akron, so I'm going to review it today, get it to you, and have Chris look at it. So that's an exciting new.
This is for
training
for
some
the-
training rooms for the sheriff's department, which he can then also have other departments use. It'll be scheduled out of his office, but if EMA needed some training rooms for an evening, or one of the firefighters associations or other police departments, it would be scheduled out of the sheriff's office. So I will be reviewing that MOU today and get it to you and Chris for maybe. We're trying to shoot for November 1, which now that I have the MOU, it looks like it's realistic. So secondly, meeting with Denise this Thursday. I'm very excited. She is going to assist in writing the RFQ for the fairgrounds strategic planning that we had previously talked about. So we will be getting that RFQ done this week. So be able to send that out to the world very soon too. But I'll have you both review it before we send it out to the world.
Great, thank you.
Anybody have anything
You know
else?
what? I did leave something out. I was talking NOACA, and I forget the EMA advisory group meeting is scheduled for November 16th.
15th.
November 15th. Thank you. That was a test. Everybody passed. November 15th, it will be at the sheriff's office. We're going to be sending a meeting notice out this week with some additional information gleaned from the conversation with the prosecutor's office of kind of how that meeting will take place. The plan is ultimately to have representatives from each of the subdivisions who appear cast votes, so it'll be a one vote per subdivision procedure. So the trustees, the chair of the board would be kind of the default voting position, the way the language of the agreement works and has been interpreted by the prosecutor's office. If the chair is not available, then it'd be the vice chair. If neither the chair nor vice chair are available, then the additional trustee could cast a vote on behalf of that subdivision. Or the chair can select a non-trustee designee if none of the trustees are available. So there's a little bit, just kind of the interpretation of that, because this is the first time through. We're piecing that together, and so that will be circulated to all the subdivisions to answer what we expect will be, kind of the logistical questions around that meeting. So I believe that'll be circulated by email and regular mail this week. So
And we will advertise the meeting, because technically it will be a commissioners' meeting.
Or
although the
as well as a
sheriff's
public
office-
meeting.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's a public meeting, I guess, of the advisory group, but
Right.
we'll
But
be
we open
presiding
it,
over it.
yes.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, thank you for putting that together. Now, the eligible jurisdictions to vote are only those that have approved the agreement, is that correct?
Right, and that's spelled out in
So what is
there as
that,
well.
who has not approved it? yet?
As of the date of the writing of the letter, which is yesterday and today, really, we had 3 outstanding. It was Litchfield Township, Spencer Village, and Homer Township.
Spencer Village? I thought
Yeah,
they
we
had already
should-
sent
we
their.
saw the mayor yesterday.
Yeah, we saw the more, yeah,
I thought
yeah.
Spencer Village had come in.
They were one. I think we're waiting. I think Homer and them. I think we've heard overtures that we should have it. We just haven't seen it yet in our office. And
Okay.
that spells that out too, because what we're requesting ultimately, if we've received the agreement in this office prior to that meeting,
Yeah,
all is well.
Right.
But because of delivery delays and some of these other
Right.
things that we've seen in the past, I think that it's kind of best practices to try and target getting it here by the end of this month.
Yeah,
October 31st, then there's room for error. If you intend to get it in and it doesn't get here by then we can kind of track it down. As opposed to trying to get it here by November 15th, and then you miss a deadline.
Oh,
Well, give it-
have
give
we
it-
heard from Litchfield on their holdup?
I haven't heard any updates. I attended a meeting there, one of the earlier meetings I attended, but I haven't heard any further updates.
well, given the uncertainty that we actually have tried to deal with since 1990, whenever the agreement was first accomplished, and the lack of permanent record as to who signed and who didn't, our intentions were to journalize this, correct, before we
Yes.
proceed? So do we have a date when we're going to actually journalize that according to our records?
I think October 31st would be a good date to do that.
Okay,
We have a
alright.
meeting that day.
Yeah, okay.
I think unless if anybody else has another opinion, because the reality could be we journalize on October 31st, and we could still get 1 or 2 of these other agreements trickle in
Yeah.
after that. So maybe we should wait until closer to the November 15th meeting date. But I don't know that we need to have every single participating community. We could always supplement the
Well, why couldn't we do it the Tuesday before the meeting? The
which would be
15th,
the
is it?
13th.
Yeah,
Election, the Tuesday before.
Is it
Yeah.
is that the 13th? Is that a Tuesday?
Yes.
okay.
No, the
It doesn't
meeting's on
sound right.
Wednesday. the
Well, it's still the
15th.
day before, we have the
Yes, we have
ability to
14th.
journalize
Yeah,
it.
14th.
Why don't we just, basically, it
Yeah.
comes down to communicate we're going to.
I'm
That creates a
sure-
permanent record,
Yep.
so that in the future, we won't have the, future generations of commissioners and entities won't have to look back and go, well, we're not sure who's here
Right.
because they lost the records.
Right.
And that is
Well,
here
and
the
I'm
problem
sure if those
we've had to deal with.
entities understand that if they don't join the county, that
They have to do their own
They have to
plan.
do their
Well,
own plan.
Right, do their own plan,
Or
or they
contribute.
could contribute to it and not be a voting member. I don't know why anybody would do that.
Me
I
too.
don't know
Yeah,
why
yeah.
anybody would make their own plan, but my point is,
Yeah.
there is an alternative short of creating your own plan
Right.
that involves contributing and not voting. So there is a kind of a middle ground there that wouldn't seem appealing to me, but.
Yeah, I just want to get affirmation, we're going to journalize it, for now on,
Yep.
and for permanent record, as to who are members of the EMA, so there's never that question again.
Right.
And maybe just the meeting before, that's when we do it.
Yeah,
If we're gonna organize.
actually, that
Does that
does
make
make
sense?
sense. Yeah,
Okay,
it
all
does.
right.
It does.
Thank you.
But the other key, I think, is because of this interpretation of the language of the agreement. I think the language of the agreement is clear, as is the interpretation of the prosecutor's office.
Mm-hmm.
The municipalities, the subdivisions, the townships don't have to take further action
Right.
to authorize somebody to vote in that
Sure.
meeting. There'll be kind of a procedure.
all right.
And that'll be spelled out in the documentation that goes out this week. So I think that'll clear up some of that. There will be other
Good.
questions. It's our first go-around at it. We'll probably we'll learn from how it goes this time, and we'll improve it for the future, but we're trying to make it as smooth as possible.
Super,
So.
great. Thank you for your leadership.
I will entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, we go into an executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee and to discuss imminent litigation.
Second.
Roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.